I even put on a shirt, pretending like I haven't been sitting around in sweatpants all day. So, my voice has been on YouTube for years now. My video content has been on YouTube for years. But the idea of putting my face in front of this camera is a step that I never thought that I would make. Perhaps naively so. And yet here we are. So I guess the main question is why? And then the main follow-up to that would be why now? I think the simplest way I can say this is that two things have been becoming more and more true since I started making videos. The most pertinent, I think, is that I started making these videos during lockdown as an exercise to teach myself something that was creative and also totally new to me at the time. My calling has always been writing. It's been that way since I was around 19, something like that. And I'm only a few years short of 40 at this point. So I had this desire to branch out into something that involved my writing skill, but would also be something that people would enjoy. Writing scripts and making videos around those scripts felt like a natural avenue of exploration at that time, particularly because I was struggling to get published in a more traditional sense. That's including both my short stories and, more importantly to me really, my novels. YouTube was proving to be this kind of fresh haven that I could be creative, but also it was interactive. I could get real-time feedback on what I was making, which when you're writing short stories and writing novels especially, you're not going to get feedback in situ. And I've had some small successes since I started the channel. I've recently surpassed 100,000 views, which is great. You know, it's more than I fully expected when I first started. But you know, I do feel kind of ungrateful about that, because there are thousands of people, a lot of them younger than me, probably as many thousands as views I've had, right, of people who would have loved to have achieved even that small success. But I suppose I feel ungrateful in the sense that it wasn't really what I wanted to do. My YouTube venture, 5 years running now, has been something that was supposed to be a potential outlet and something fun and a way to express myself at a time when I was struggling in the way that I most wanted to be creative. And more recently, I've started to run out of things that I feel excited to write about and make videos about. And I know that there are two things that a creator can do when that happens. One is that they can take a step back and consider why they started doing it in the first place, like I did. Or they can simply throw themselves into the content grinder, the content mill, whatever you want to call it. And I think that happens a lot. I think it happens all the time. I've seen it happen with creators that I've respected, and, you know, maybe they make a bit of money from doing that, but ultimately it's too makeshift to last. I think when you start to lose inspiration and passion in it, it starts to become a bit like trying to blow wind into your own sails. It's just not going to work. So my output has slowed down a lot. A few subscribers here or there might have noticed this. I mentioned before that there are two things that are becoming more and more true. So that covers part one. Part two is that I've been seeing more success in my writing, which is to say, my writing outside of YouTube. I decided ultimately that this experience has been fun, but I've both learned and expressed much of what I wanted to do with it over the last 5 years. In that process, I have appreciated every comment that I got, genuinely. Even the ones that threw vitriol at me, the ones that told me I was stupid or an idiot, or the one time that somebody accused me of being a plant for the LGBTQ community somehow. Yeah, that was on my last video, the Elden Ring video. Full disclosure, I am not part of that community. The main reason I wanted to make that video was because I wanted to make a video about Elden Ring, and from what I could see, no one had done that before. And it just interested me narratively. Plus, I figured that as an original idea, it would just be something that people would want to watch. The combinations of my motivations were as simple as that. But wow, yeah, that's definitely the most hate I've received on the internet before. But before I digress too much, getting all that hate is not the reason that I'm pulling away now. And it really would not sit well with me to think that people think that for any reason. It's kind of funny, I started framing this video in my head as an announcement that I'm going to start pivoting more into my writing journey. But actually now I'm sitting here and talking about it, I kind of realized that it's two things. It's me announcing that there's this new thing I want to do, this new channel I want to make. But it's also me formally sunsetting 5 years of work. I guess I never really officially thought that I would do that. In my head, I always felt that it would just kind of sit there like that old podcast I made that never should have seen the light of day. But now I'm sitting here and processing it, that is effectively what I'm doing. I know that I don't have a community. I've never engaged in YouTube in that way, and I'm not nearly big enough. But I just wanted to make stuff that I thought mattered and that reflected my opinion. And there might be one or two people out there who are still subscribed and know that they're still subscribed, who might be waiting for the next thing. And I do feel obliged to say that that won't be coming. And here's the real reason why. My debut novel got picked up by a small press, and they will be publishing it in 2027. It's my absolute dream. I've been angling toward this goal since I was, about 19. So give or take, that's about 18 years by my count. So almost half my consciousness on this earth has been trying to achieve that. So I feel like I'm doing what anyone in my shoes would do, which is to say that I'm drawing a line under all my other creative endeavors and just focusing on what I always wanted most. Because you can always hope that you achieve that one dream. But honestly, if I could do my time over, I wouldn't have done anything differently. Having this somewhat successful creative outlet at a time when I was really struggling to do what I wanted to do most was a benefit to my mental health. It helped my writing get better. And it even helped prove to myself that I can make things that people are interested in. Frankly, before YouTube, I really had no evidence of that at all. I think my first short stories were only published shortly after my first videos started taking off. So YouTube really is the place where I've found a sense of confidence that I've been looking for a very long time. And I think it's because I'm respectful of that I know it's time to admit that I'm ready to move on. I still want to make videos, but I want to use the skills that I've learned to document my publishing journey. And the main reason I'm making this video at all is because I know that most people here are not going to be interested in that at all. But I also know that if there was a niche channel that I liked and that creator was ready to move on, I would appreciate a sign off. So here I am, signing off. So if you have even the remotest interest in learning about how I got my book deal, why it's taken me 18 years, and the precipitous mountain I'm about to start climbing in just getting ready to go through that 2-year process, I will link the first video of this new channel in the description down below, and we can just go from there. In the immortal words of Douglas Adams, so long, and thanks for all the views.